Whatever. It's our life. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Vinyl Fetish. I'm Randy. Andy. Hey, how you doing? You seem a little under the weather.
Thanks for making me do this.
I'm sorry. We got to do it. We have to do these. We have a topic that I want to talk to you about tonight, which is death. Death. Does death make us appreciate artists more? This is the question. And the reason I want you to think about who you love and tell me. And don't die while we make this, please. I love you too much.
Okay.
It would be good for ratings, but so the reason this came up is, of course, the passing of Aretha Franklin. Aretha, a big part of my musical life. I loved her. When you think of Aretha, what comes to mind?
I know she's great. You've never played her like regularly.
Yeah,
so.
I have a lot. I have a bunch. I have her on cassettes and CDs and vinyl. Spirit in the Night, Spirit in the Dark. Oh, that's a great record, of course. I Never Loved a Woman from 1967 with Respect. You know the Respect song, right?
Everybody knows that song.
Followed by Aretha Now with Think. Oh, This Girl's in Love with You. Burt Bacharach and Lennon and McCartney. My favorite Aretha album is from 1971, Live at the Fillmore West. I love it so much. I framed it in this frame that you bought for me. Put it up on the wall. Recorded in March of 1971 and released 2 months later because they used to be able to do that. And just a great live album. Ray Charles is on it. She does Beatles and Paul Simon and Love the One You're With. And I was just going to tell you this one story. I'm still hoping you're thinking about this issue of death, but I love this album so much. I have several. I've already told you one little story about how I discovered that record that we won't talk about.
I don't remember what you're talking about.
I was in Ireland, and this music writer, famous music writer who will remain nameless, invited me into his abode to play some records.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Then there was something else going on there. Anyway, it's just a great live records. Aretha, we knew that she was going to die. So
okay, but why is it that you always love, especially you, or like when someone dies, it's like the next, I know somebody died because they're playing in the morning, or I hear Randy like yell at his computer and I'm like, Paul McCartney died. Like, I don't know.
No, Paul died in 1966.
I don't know how many times I've thought that Paul died because you freak out for like you stubbed your toe, or like somebody is messing with you on Facebook and you just like, oh my god. And then I'm like, oh my god, Paul McCartney died, and now we're gonna have to listen to Paul for like a month.
Well, I mean, it's a good question. First of all, a lot of the music of the baby boom generation, the older lion, are dying off. Like, there's going to be a moment when Bob Dylan dies.
Isn't he dead already?
And we're going to have to deal with it. You know, we're all here for a short period of time. And so there is this thing, this gut. I'm finding it strange that you don't get why you would want to just sort of dive into that artist and kind of respect them. When Prince died, you know, I went to Prince binge.
I know, I understand why people do it, but it's kind of like a show.
Really?
It's a show because
it's mourning. It's part
like
of
even people that
them.
don't really listen to Aretha are like listening and saying she's my queen and blah blah blah. And I mean, she was obviously amazing, but it's why are you late to the show?
True. Okay, so this is the question.
What bothers me is like, why are you late to the show? If you love her so much, then why are you not listening to her?
Yeah, why are you
more? Why are you not, supporting artists like her? Like,
okay,
come on.
So have there been? I mean, I think that's totally valid. You should be there. You shouldn't be Johnny Come Lately and just like them after they're dead. Somebody once said that like, dying is great for your record sales. Like Elvis has sold more since he's been dead. And
I mean, it's really... don't get me wrong, like, I love dead people, musicians that are dead, obviously,
Well, let me ask you.
Because it's like, they're completed works.
Yeah, right, they're done.
Like, they're done. Like, now you have the whole book, pretty much, to read.
So who has passed that you have kind of liked more after they passed?
No.
Not because they're
no.
dead, but kind of appreciated them more.
Everybody that dies, you appreciate the more. That's the whole thing.
But some people, so I would think, so for you, and not to think of stereotypes, but
okay.
I would think when Selena died, there's a lot of people that discovered Selena after she died.
I knew her before that.
Yeah, I know. But did you like her?
Of course I knew. Everybody was crying in my little Mexican town when she died.
Or when Amy Winehouse died.
I mean, I saw that coming.
Yeah, well, we saw that sort of like Aretha in a different way. So I'm going to give you 2 examples of where that's, for me, that's not the case. Because usually when people die, they become even more, like you say, it's a good point that they're done. It's a complete, like John Lennon will never record another record. So we have his whole complete, from his birth in 1940 to his death in 1980. We have the whole thing to explore. Paul McCartney can still put out a crappy record, and
and he is going to.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm going to give you 2 examples of where that kind of notion of they die and that you love
after
them.
They die,
you love them, and then when they die, you kind of appreciate them even greater. So I'm just follow me here.
Okay.
Kurt Cobain, 1994, blows his brains out. I stop listening. I don't go back to those Nirvana records. They're not because of the painful memory of his death, because I'm angry at him. I'm still angry at him as a father and a husband and a guy who had a lot of great music for me to enjoy. For him to do that, I just can't. I don't like those Nirvana records. I saw them, I met him, I was moshed to them and in front of him. Those records, I don't care about Nirvana anymore. Fuck him. He blew his brains out.
He didn't do it for you.
Well, I know. Are you sure?
You're not the center
I
of
know,
the world.
but I'm just saying it's ruined my memory of that music. Okay, so I'm just that's one example of when somebody dies.
So you have to die of natural causes for you to appreciate
preferably.
their
Or tragically.
Okay, wait. So does it mean that his art is not as good because he kills himself?
Well, there's lots of great artists that committed suicide. So for me, I was so, I don't know, maybe it was because I was really connected. We have the same birthday and everything. I felt really he was my dude. That for me, it's just not the same. And then I'll give you the other one. No, it's a good. I mean, there's a lot of tragic deaths out there.
Okay.
And the other is Jeff Buckley. When Jeff Buckley died in '97, he drowns in the Mississippi River. Another person who had kind of a personal connection to such an amazing artist. That his death was so tragic that it makes that sad music even sadder. And I just can't bring myself to listen to it like I listen to it for enjoyment. I might listen to it because I want to feel tortured, but I'm going to listen to Jeff Buckley's Grace album. It's just it's too much now because of how he died.
Okay.
So. But I think in general, I
think that's a bit dramatic.
Yeah, well, I'm a Pisces like Kurt Cobain, so.
Oh god.
So there is this thing that we are curious: is when an artist dies, do they become more of a legend? Are they more valuable? Even their crappy records that they made, like when Paul McCartney dies, is like his crappy press album from 1986. All of a sudden, people are going to be rediscovering. When Brian Wilson dies. Are we going to reevaluate the crappy stuff because we don't have anymore?
Also, when you rediscover those crappy albums, you can't really judge them fairly because how can you say, oh, this guy made a really shitty record, he sucks. Well, he's dead, so it's kind of rude for you to say that his record is bad. He's gonna come haunt you.
That's true. You can't say anything bad about John Coltrane because he's dead. He doesn't have a way to
you can't really judge.
That's a pretty good point.
I would not feel comfortable judging somebody like that.
I think it, from a critic perspective, it might be a little unfair that we all of a sudden elevate people when they die. That their crappier stuff all of a sudden is, well, they're dead. So it's still better.
Yeah. And it's not.
So the question is, do you appreciate artists more after they died? Do their music?
Well, you go first.
Me? Well, I would say it depends on how they died. It depends on how they died. If they died in a way that made me personally angry, pissed me off, then I'm gonna hold a grudge against them. But if they died in some romantic way of like tuberculosis or something, you know, consumption, then I'm gonna love their crappy stuff even more.
Okay. I think I'm conflicted because I think it's a farce when people start listening to artists that are dead, and it kind of pisses me off that they take it as an opportunity to kind of like show off their good taste, or you know, if it's like a popular artist that died, all of a sudden you're just like, she's your queen and blah blah blah. But I feel like it's disrespectful to the artist, and if you didn't like them when they were alive, then you should think about why you're listening to them now.
You're right on. I think that's really valid.
Well,
it's true. It's true. People pose like, oh, when Prince died, and all of a sudden they're like huge Prince fans, and they didn't care about Prince before. All of a sudden now that they're jumping on the bandwagon, oh, I'm so sad he's dead. Tell me, you know, name one Prince album that you own.
Yeah. Or also just listen to them and don't, you know, proclaim that you love them so much. Maybe that would be more like down to earth and actually honest.
But it is cool to get into dead artists.
We should make a dead artist playlist.
Our favorite dead artists. People that have died. So, well, in tribute to Aretha, we love you. Now the room has been cleared for Beyonce to be the queen. Now that Aretha's dead. We'd love to know what dead artists do you appreciate in their death, or which artists you just are so pissed off that they're dead you can't listen to them anymore. Jeff Buckley.
Or which artists are you looking forward to
dying?
I'm just kidding. Okay.
Comment below and subscribe. That's a nice cool show.
Don't die.
Don't die, not yet.
Are you getting the spirit?